Mega Chris 18 and his friends know about a creepy old courthouse somewhere in Corpus Christi, Texas. They sneak in through a hole in the fence and start exploring the outside perimeter for a way into the building. Last time they were able to get in through a broken window, but they're disappointed to discover it's been boarded up since. Mega Chris 18 walks up and curiously knocks on the wood and receives an unexpected response.
Hello? Hey, when I say hello, the light turned off and it turned back on.
The group quickly develops a method of communication with the possible spirit using the light on their camera.
Can you do that one more time? Can you do that one more time so all my friends can see that?
The ghost uses the camera light to respond to a series of true or false questions. They soon learn that they are talking to the spirit of a young female who is somehow trapped inside the courthouse. After a while, they feel its presence slip away and stop getting responses. I really wish I could have seen Chris's hands to see if he was messing with the light. This video could be real, but we'll never know for sure. Willard is hiking Horseshoe Falls in Colorado when he decides he wants to try to climb a cliff. The path is steeper than it looks, and soon he has to put more of his weight on the rocks, which look kind of loose to begin with. Rushing waters are below him, and when he admits defeat and tries to climb back down, everything goes wrong. A large rock comes loose and thankfully rolls the opposite way instead of onto his head. He wedges himself between two rocks and says that if he lost his footing, he could have been taken underwater. Meanwhile, his friend looks back with hardly a care. Overall, I'm just glad he didn't break anything, or else it would have been a long and expensive airlift to the nearest hospital. This is one for the books. Published by ABCD in April of 2009, this phantom was reportedly captured in Bangalore. The scary clip shows a semi-transparent woman emerging from a wall. With long dark hair and dressed in white, the apparition glides across the floor, traveling straight through all objects around her, including a gate, before disappearing out of frame. What do you think of this full-bodied apparition? I'm just gonna put it out there. It's one of the realest looking ghosts I've ever seen. It was May 17th, 1995. What San Diego was about to witness would be one for the record books. Sean Nelson thought he'd go for a joyride that day in an M60 tank. He broke into the National Guard Armory, rambled behind the wheel, and headed down Mesa College Drive into neighborhoods, crushing cars, busting open fire hydrants, and eventually leading police cruisers on a low-speed chase down Route 163. The crazy rampage lasted 23 minutes, all caught by TV news crews and police helicopters. The episode lasted until police subdued Nelson and he was lifted out of the tank. Although there are many questions to be asked about this event, the big question is why? Why did he do it? Nelson had enlisted in the army after high school and served in West Germany in a tank battalion. His service record includes disciplinary problems and led to his honorable discharge in 1980. When he got home, he had a nice enough life for half a decade, got married, bought a home, made a decent living as a plumber, but then his parents passed away within 4 years of each other, and he couldn't cope with what happened. His wife filed for divorce. 5 years later, his life was in shambles. He had no money, his tools had been taken, his girlfriend left him, his house was in foreclosure. This is when Nelson went off the deep end. Literally, he started digging a hole 17 feet deep in his backyard. He told his friends that there was gold down there. Nelson's breaking point made for a frightening reality on this day in 1995. An adventurer in India sees something truly chilling.
हम छत के ऊपर आए हैं कैमरे उतारने के लिए और ये औरत नीचे खड़ी हुई है भागो इधर से
He diverts his horrified gaze, and when he looks up, it's gone, but not for long.
ये आप देख सकते हैं, ये कमरे भी आप देख सकते हैं लॉक किए हुए हैं इन्होंने। ये आप सुन सकते हैं.
Red blotches on the curtains mark where an apparition has touched the cloth. I did not see these handprints here moments before. He goes outside and finds a drastic change of weather, further evidence of displeasing a powerful spirit.
ये आप देख सकते हैं. ये आवाज़ें भी आप सुन सकते हैं.
He turns around to go inside for shelter, only to be greeted by the sound of a child's voice through a partially open door.
अभी दोस्तों हम इधर से जा रहे हैं. इंशाल्लाह नेक्स्ट टाइम हम जब आएंगे किसी बुजुर्ग को साथ में लेकर आएंगे.
He wisely decides to wait out the storm outside and does not go back in. I suppose he figures it would be quicker and less scary to chance it with the lightning, rather than return to whatever poltergeist activity is waiting for him there. Who's there? Redditor Sal26 Serrano says remodeling was being done in this vacant apartment complex of 4, and the owner of the property was downstairs with him at the time. So who is making this noise? Did you hear it? There's definitely someone there, but whether they're supposed to be there or not is the next question. My guess would be this place has squatters. Is this house haunted? Posted by YouTuber Ricky Velasquez. A security camera captured some jarring movement in the living room. Watch the sofa. After the sofa appears to be shoved by something unseen, the woman shouts at her partner in alarm. Let's see it again. The sofa is given a good push, but unfortunately the narrow view prevents us from seeing if there's anything off camera. Although her reaction seems genuinely disturbed, I can't say that this couldn't be faked. We're gonna need a few more cameras. Submitted to the Chills Narrator subreddit by a sleepad8673. This redditor wrote, Randonautica at its finest. Let's watch their submission and see what they're talking about.
Oh, it smells horrible. Oh yeah. It's in the middle of the woods.
So the keys have to be in there.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. The lights came on.
It appears this redditor stumbled upon a creepy abandoned car in the middle of nowhere with the help of Randonautica. In the comments, Chi Jojo said, "This is like the third Randonautica video I've seen of cars being abandoned in the middle of the woods. One had a child's voice coming out of nowhere saying, 'Do you want to play?' Strange indeed." To which the redditor who found this car replied, "I'm so glad there's no audible EVPs asking me if I want to play, especially a child's voice. For some reason, that's even creepier. Somebody on Reddit helped me get the VIN number and ran it. Came back with an alert for a reported stolen vehicle. So it appears this abandoned car was stolen. Now the question on my mind is, who took the car and left it here? What is this creature? Please," writes a YouTuber named Terriana, to which I have but one question in return. Why are you still in front of it? I would have been long gone. Seriously though, it looks like some kind of toxic caterpillar, except here's the thing. This video was caught on camera on a boat while out at sea. I think we can all agree that the creature is covered in fur, something I've never seen on any deep sea creature caught on tape before, and it's really bizarre. This video was posted in 2007 and I couldn't find anything else like it, so I'm not sure what this mysterious deep sea creature is. I think it's laying on its side and normally crawls along the lighter colored bottom portion. Hopefully those long protrusions up and down its body are hairs and not sharp quills. You may remember me talking about D menace in a previous video, but I wanted to give this video a further analysis. To describe D menace in short terms, the best would probably be adrenaline junkie. First appearing on YouTube in 2018, he has posted a variety of videos from conducting one-breath dives to venturing deep into tight caves. His videos are not for the faint of heart and can distress people with the feats he conducts. He has also posted several urban exploration videos. In June 2020, D ventured into an abandoned malt factory complex with several buildings to explore. All alone, he traveled through the dark and derelict halls. For the first half of the video, nothing particularly strange happens. D ventures through the various passages and even into the basement, finding strange and even beautiful graffiti on the walls. As he approaches the stairs to the basement, he feels apprehension as, in his words, the walls and ceiling begin to resemble the altered state of Silent Hill when it transitions to Otherworld.
I think I reached a really dangerous and scary part here because it's starting to feel and look exactly like in Silent Hill.
After some time, he decides to continue down the depths. Here, he finds a red bed or chair, something that gives him the creeps. Written on it in German is, "Raise your legs and chill." He continues to explore the basement, but is in a constant state of discomfort from the darkness and his mind playing tricks on him. Therefore, he decides to head back upstairs. He then states part of what creeps him out about this place is the lack of wildlife residing in the building. Unlike other places he's explored, he hasn't seen a single bird or rodent since arriving. As he makes his way into the second part of the complex, he begins to feel more anxious, hearing noises around him. He admits he is unaware if it is because he is simply spooked or if there's another person inside with him. Not long after making this statement, D discovers he is, in fact, not alone in the complex. As he is showing the view out the window, a man suddenly and casually walks out from the trees. Completely oblivious, D sees and is recording him. The man walks calmly to the same building D is in, but D is clearly nervous and says he hopes the man does not have ill intent. He then hears the man speaking, but it is unknown to whom. After, D becomes quiet, listening and acting increasingly anxious. Soon he enters a similar room to where he first saw the man walking up and is startled to see a pair of legs on the other side of a hole in the wall. He quickly quiets down and kneels, but realizes the man must have heard him as the legs retreat in the opposite direction. Realizing the risk of this situation, he decides to try and exit the building. However, as he approaches a corner, the man emerges and pushes D to the ground. After some exchanged words, the two men calm down and discover it was a simple misunderstanding. The other individual, named Jonathan, is just another urban explorer who is also unsure of D's intentions. Luckily this time, for both men, neither were there for anything bad and were just wanting to check the place out. D's video is a wake-up call for anyone intending to do their own exploration or even ghost hunts. Abandoned buildings pose all sorts of hazards, mostly from the decaying condition of the structures posing physical hazards. What is often overlooked is the possibilities of others in the building who could potentially be living there or committing unsavory deeds away from prying eyes. Both D and Jonathan were justified in their suspicion of each other, and on this occasion were able to laugh it off and even continue to explore the building together. It is likely this made the adventure safe, as the two would now be able to look out for one another in case an accident occurred. It goes as a reminder to how the paranormal is not the only thing to be afraid of on these tours. D was definitely thanking his lucky stars he stumbled across Jonathan, as both explorers decided to head into the basement, as D felt it was better to have company. Down there they find spray cans, a piece of a bicycle body, and a package. However, down a deep corridor, D finds a bone. While it could be misinterpreted for human, Jonathan points out it doesn't appear to be. On analysis, it more so resembles one someone would give their dog to chew on. Regardless, Dee decides to leave the bone there. Certainly an adrenaline-inducing adventure this time, and thankfully Dee made a new friend to explore with. Still goes to show how careful one must be about the place they explore, as well as who might be in it. A YouTuber named Fauzi Ki Danaya of Pakistan has caught some creepy things on tape while exploring a haunted building that used to be a school.
तो ये मेरे लिए एक फ़ायदा है। ये भाई क्या मुसीबत है अंदर।
It doesn't take very long for the scary stuff to begin.
ये मेरे चला खैर इसको। क्या आप जिन हो? ओए अल्लाह 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 अल्लाह। ओए कैसी आवाज़ है यार? ओए अल्लाह।
His ghost meter detects a presence in this room shortly before the paranormal activity ramps up a lot and a window slams shut on its own.
रात में नहीं हुई। इस जगह पे जो भी चीज़ मौजूद है, ये कैमरा भी घूमे जा रहा है, ब्लर क्यों हो रहा है बार बार? क्यों ब्लर हो रहा है ये समझ में नहीं आ रहा मुझे।
A final loud crash sends him running out of the building to see what's making all of the noise. All he finds is a stray cat outside, which he suspects is a shape-shifting jinn because no cat would walk towards all that commotion. I'm not so sure about all that, but I do think it's strange how this classroom is the only place where weird haunted things get caught on camera. Exploring the rest of the haunted school reveals no other paranormal activity, just whatever's by this window. A ghost hunting crew called the Singapore Paranormal Investigators go exploring the abandoned Bucket Brown Cemetery. Constructed in 1922, this is one of the largest burial grounds in the entire country. So if any place were to be haunted, it would be here. They light candles to attract spirits and soon read an energy spike on their paranormal equipment. They take a picture of the darkness ahead and think they've caught something paranormal in the shape of a glowing orb. I played this part in slow motion and discovered this strange orb is really a street sign reflecting the flash of the camera. I don't think they were purposefully faking this part and probably thought it was real paranormal evidence at the time because they were scared. The ghost meter swirls with another buildup of paranormal energy, and a solid black orb comes out of the equipment, or more likely an insect. Later that night, they think they see something fly over the candles in the area. I don't see anything here, but maybe you do. Their camera stops working shortly after they see it, so maybe there was a ghost after all. The team from Extinct File believes they were confronted by a demon who is pretending to be a priest. As they're first exploring the haunted place, they get an eerie vibe right away. When they ask the spirit what to do, it provides a resounding answer.
Dígame lo que quiera decirme.
As he prays and then starts to hear noises, he realizes something else is there. Later, they're explaining what happened when they hear the noise again.
Mira a la derecha. Eso fue aquí. Eso fue aquí, güey. Espérate, no, quédate aquí conmigo, güey.
The demon doesn't let up. Then when they're about to leave, this happens.
Ah, mi luz se me está queriendo apagar. ¿Qué? ¿Qué pasó? No mames, cámara 2. Está sangrando, güey. A ver qué.
What caused this crew's member's nosebleed? I'd say it's all too obvious. It was definitely that grunting demon, and who knows if it's finished with them. This leaked video supposedly captures a secret anti-gravity experiment conducted by the government in broad daylight. A military helicopter rises in the air without moving its blades, all while making a magnetic humming sound the entire time. Listen to how bizarre distorted droning becomes more distant as the helicopter somehow flies away. There definitely seems to be something aboard causing that sound, perhaps an experimental anti-gravitational device. I don't know about you, but that definitely does not look or sound like a normal helicopter to me. I have heard that helicopters can sometimes look like this depending on the camera that's recording it, but if someone could provide me with a more concrete explanation, I would really appreciate it. Until then, I have to wonder if this really was a government anti-gravity experiment taken within plain sight of the public. Mr. Fairy is exploring the haunted PLKN building, a youth program in Malaysia that's said to be haunted ever since a mysterious case of mass food sickness led to the abandonment of the whole program. He's caught some creepy moments 17 minutes into the live stream when someone donates.
Allah Akbar, Allah Akbar, Allah Akbar, Allah Akbar, Allah Akbar, Allah Akbar, subhanallah, subhanallah, Allah Akbar! Astaghfirullah.
His camera freezes and the image whitens as something passes by.
Kun fayakun. Allah Akbar! Akbar! Ya Allah, subhanallah, subhanallah, ya Allah. Allah Akbar, bergerak sini.
The only time his camera seems to freeze is when paranormal activity is happening in front of him.
Allah Akbar! Wais! Allah Akbar, apa benda tu? Ya Allah! Wais!
He runs into the room it was literally just in and the ghost is gone. There's no jump cut editing and this was on live stream, so the figure should have still been there if it was a person. He stands outside of the window to see if it will return.
Allah Akbar, Allah Akbar, Allah Akbar. Allah Akbar, subhanallah, subhanallah. Allah Akbar! Allah Akbar! Allah Akbar, Allah Akbar, Allah Akbar, wais! Allah Akbar! Wai gila sial!
The figure is in the next room. Now is the chance for a paranormal encounter up close.
Wait! Wait! Ya Allah, Tuhanku! Mati aku!
By the time he gets back, he needs to lay down and think about what he just saw. Apparently being surrounded by that much paranormal energy has drained all of his. A YouTuber named G, the one and only, starts off this video immediately looking creeped out and a little bit panicked about something, but we are not yet let in on whatever his current situation is. Presumably a friend of his starts to film him as he proceeds to walk into a room which is absolutely filled with Bionicle toys, which is surely any young kid's dream, but maybe this set of Bionicle toys are not meant to be played with.
There's nothing up here.
They are claiming that a Bionicle's head moves on its own. Let's slow this footage down and see if we can see it. See, it's the tallest Bionicle figure. Oh, I see it now. I think it's this one right up here. Although it only happens for just a brief second, if you slow down the footage and zoom in, you can see that the tallest bionicle figure standing up actually appears to move its head slightly all by itself. Of course, it is entirely possible that this particular figure is battery powered and has a built-in feature which allows for its head to move around, but that seems like reaching for answers. Plus, the uploader who owns the toy is creeped out by this, so it can't be battery powered. He says that he doesn't believe in ghosts, but is having a hard time dismissing this clip. Let this video be a warning that not even your own childhood toys are safe from being taken over by the spirit of ghosts. I first heard about 30 East Drive in Pontefract through YouTuber Shadowman. It's said to be haunted by a somewhat evil entity named Fred or the Black Monk. Many have explored the haunted location in the UK, and here's some of the best captures in this home. The first short one comes from YouTuber Thomas Matthew, who captured a door closing.
That's it. Push the door, yeah. Well done. Wow.
Thank you.
Thank
Keep
you.
going, keep going, keep
Thank
going,
you.
keep going.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Wow.
This next video is even creepier. JDH Spooks Paranormal captured a mysterious hand.
Your leg on your left hand. Your left hand.
This video from Christopher Chell shows a paranormal device rolling off of a chair.
Okay, so we've got a cat ball on the chair. No one's in the room. You suddenly get your light up. Roll off. You've been sat on that chair for a good while, but nothing should affect it.
Purple Bee Paranormal recorded this video where the broken radio suddenly revives itself.
You're the radio. It's the radio, come in. You mean the radio don't work? It's bloody singing to itself.
But this last clip tops them all. Lee Brady shares this footage that was filmed by the property's cleaner, Sarah B.
I have just seen something. Right, that's it. I'm off down. I can't take no more. I am off frigging down.
This piece of evidence really hit it home for me. I'm entirely convinced that 30 East Drive is 100% haunted, and if this is the ghost known as Fred, I don't want to know. I think it's time to get the heck out of there. This paranormal crew's third visit to this prison did not disappoint. CVS Paranormal enters Dorchester Prison, a criminal facility in which executions have been carried out. In previous investigations of this prison, the team has captured some truly eerie figures on camera, like this one. As the team enters, whispering is heard on the audio.
This is a big main entrance where down there is
A second EVP captures a low growl.
Prisoner was in here. Prisoner was in here.
This is shortly followed by a door closing or opening.
Sounded like a growl or something. Like a growl or something.
And scratching noises.
This is a big one. Yeah, definite noises.
This singing is what's really chilling.
I swear I just heard singing. It sounded like it's coming from here as well. Soldier. Oh!
But it's when you're not searching for ghosts that they come find you.
Trust me.
It seems Dorchester Prison is truly rife with activity, but whether it's good or evil is anyone's guess. If you happen upon a site where a sacrificial ritual was performed, run far, far away. YouTube channel Se Investiga Cazadores de Lendas was exploring this abandoned place when they came across just such a site. They enter a room with lifeless animals and a pentagram on the wall. On the ground is a ponytail of hair and candles. There's a burnt animal skull on the wall.
Tudo aconteceu onde tudo acontece. As coisas apareceram aqui. Foi da última vez também que ele apareceu de ponta cabeça aqui na parede. E
as they're in this creepy room, they hear a noise. Soon their flashlights start to go haywire, and when the light turns back on, a demon has taken hold of one of them.
minha lanterna não quer acender também.
Nossa, olha aqui. Meu Deus! Que é isso, Adriano? Que é isso, cara? Que é essa, velho? Pelo amor de Deus! Meu Deus do céu, cara, que é isso?
Later, they return to the room and see this. Well, it's not clear to me what this demon clown is or what the creature in black wanted from them. One thing is clear, they shouldn't be here. The Jordanian ghost hunter, known only as Mr. Harith, is back at it again with more scary stuff caught on live stream video, this time while exploring an abandoned house once inhabited by an alleged witch.
إن شاء الله يعني شوف في الحمام. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. أعوذ بكلمات الله التامات من شر ما خلق.
This could be one of his friends, but each time he looks in the room the witch was just in, the figure has disappeared.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. أعوذ بكلمات الله التامات من شر ما خلق.
Things get really weird when this ghost caught on live stream mysteriously disappears as well.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. لا 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 راح والله راح. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
This might have been caused by a live stream delay, except it doesn't drop frames and the resolution stays the same. The ghost witch is simply there 1 second and gone the next. A YouTuber named Saltwater Sean is exploring underwater in Lower Prospect, Nova Scotia, Canada, when he makes a startling discovery that has him holding back a frightened scream. Dolls, freaky ones. He can hardly stand looking at these dolls long enough to capture them on video. I think I might see them moving ever so slightly, but it could be the wind that's moving the dolls.
We've got these two super creepy dolls that scared me underwater when I found that one on the right there. That really kind of gave me a scare.
I probably unearthed an ancient curse or something, Sean writes in the description of this scary video. Judging by the evil stare of these two pale creepy dolls, one with red eyes and the others being jet black, I think he could be correct about that curse. Somebody probably threw them in the water for a reason is all I'm saying. Do you feel like you're being watched? Maybe you are. Posted to the Chills Narrator subreddit by Gage the Sun, this short clip will have you looking over your shoulder. Titled Eyes Out of Nowhere. There is no explanation for this footage. The clip shows two bright blinking eyes in the darkness hidden just beyond a pillar. They blink and then open once more. Then the dim light goes black and this pair of glowing eyes are all you can see. Don't look into the dark corner of your room after watching this clip, or your imagination will keep you up all night. Reets Boy records what he thinks is a rare creature sighting, and while I think he might be right, I would like your help to confirm. Some of the dogs in his neighborhood are going crazy, so he zooms in on where they're barking and just barely makes out this figure possibly watching from afar. At 38 seconds, you get a much better look when he zooms in.
Bro, do you see it?
It's hard to tell for sure, but I think something is definitely there, and it kind of looks like the upper half of a shadow person. Fear suddenly overcomes Reet's boy, and he runs back inside before it gets any closer. Definitely the smart choice. A warehouse worker gets wrapped up in some wires and stumbles. His grip loosens at the scariest moment, and he almost dumps a heavy ladder on the head of a person who is looking down on their phone. He doesn't really get out of the way in time, but the ladder turns in midair and thankfully misses him. Ironically, the person was on their phone trying to program the very same security system, which caught his near demise on camera. I'm really glad he's okay, because he was not wearing a helmet and would have gotten seriously messed up. Exploration Unknown is a Knoxville-based urban exploration channel run by a man named John Turner. First appearing on YouTube in 2016, he dedicates his time to venturing into creepy abandoned locations, from derelict homes to former orphanages and asylums. His choice of location will often have a gruesome true story behind them, including the takings of life and other horrible events. Back in November 2017, John, along with friends James and Tim, returned to the abandoned Glendale orphanage they previously explored. This time their goal was to conduct the infamous 3 a.m. challenge. In short, 3 a.m. is considered the witching hour, the perfect time for hunting ghosts. Almost right off the bat at the video start, John and the others have split up when a wooden board is seen falling on its own from behind a doorway. John goes to investigate, and much to his shock and slight bemusement, it turns out it was just James playing a joke on them. This appears to be in James's nature, as he does so again when he slams a metal door shut, scaring John so badly he accidentally stops recording. Jokes aside, Tim soon begins to feel lightheaded after the trio go to the second floor, and therefore decides to head outside for some air. Meanwhile, James and John continue to investigate the second floor, finding the normal things you would expect in an abandoned building: graffiti, specks of dust, etc. When they descend the stairs back to the first floor, they are shocked to find Tim collapsed on the floor, out cold.
Down in the basement. I hope I got reception down there.
Tim? Dude, you okay? Tim? Tim, dude. Tim.
Bro, what are you doing?
You okay, man?
Thankfully, they were able to wake him, although he is clearly dazed and groggy. The reaction from John and James are of genuine concern and confusion, and Tim appears to be really out of it with a pale complexion. Deciding Tim's safety is more important, James and John help their fallen friend back outside and back to the car. Clearly shaken by the incident, John and James decide not to venture into the basement, and instead, footage of their previous visit is shown. It is unknown what exactly happened, and no other paranormal activity can be seen in the footage, so it is undetermined if Tim was the victim of some sort of attachment. He does show the common signs of paranormal attachment, which often manifest as feeling lightheaded and nauseated, and can even lead to passing out. What could also be possible is Tim came under the effects of harmful dust in the building. Considering the age and state of the orphanage, it is possible Tim became overwhelmed by particles such as asbestos, a once common insulation that can cause damage to the lungs if breathed in. The fact that John and James were unaffected does cast some doubt on this theory, although it is still completely possible. Regardless, finding your friend unconscious on the floor of such an eerie location is certain to scare anyone. Thankfully, Tim was okay and apparently started feeling a bit better after resting by the car. With that said, the three decided to call it a night and left the location. John clarified in the video description and comments Tim was okay and recovered, as well as thanking those who expressed concern for his condition. On February 21st, 2021, John uploaded a director's cut of the original video, acting as a sort of commentary. John discusses his personal experience that night. He stated he felt concerned about Tim when he said he wasn't feeling good, and expressed regret regret for not going with Tim to make sure he was alright. He also said he has received messages from people who had lived there during its operation, saying they actually had good experiences while residing there. They considered it a home with the staff taking good care of them. Comparing it to places such as Leckworth Village, it is a relief to hear good experiences about an orphanage, as they can be notorious for negativity, to put it mildly. When discussing the moment he and James found Tim, he said it looked as if he broke his leg. It is at this point John himself discusses a possible third explanation for Tim's condition. According to John, Tim had been up almost 30 hours at this point and had actually worked a full shift of work prior to joining the others. However, he also expresses Tim is sensitive to locations, including a time he collapsed at Skinwalker Ranch. This gives further support something had attached to him, but considering the positive remarks from former residents, it's hard to say what attached. It's good to know Tim turned out okay in the end, as these investigations can cause serious consequences. A man has a rather big problem in a small room. His lights are turning on and off on their own, and he can't figure out why. Across from him is a light switch that he is standing nowhere near. Not that pressing the light switch makes much of a difference. The light keeps turning on and off in rhythmic intervals regardless, like something's trying to communicate to him its presence. After 5 minutes, it finally stops through no doing of its own, and it never happens again. He shows every wall except the one to his immediate left, so perhaps a second person is standing by a dimmer switch to fake this video. But what's weird is how, almost 2 years ago to the very day, he caught something on camera that was bizarre. A door that kept opening on its own.
Staying and rest was a bit stilted and a bit uncomfortable, so give it 6.
No one is visible on the other side of the door when it oddly opens. Like the lights, the door only did this for a single day and never again. Was a ghost to blame? Have you ever met an angry shadow? You're about to. Posted to the Ghosts subreddit by Sensitive Chart 6221, this scary video was captured in Amarillo, Texas, as the Redditor and his friends were exploring. The footage shows the group walking down the hallway of an abandoned hospital. Watch the doorway at the end of the hall. You can see a dark figure around the corner. It moves out of view as they pass, but it's not clear if that's because the cameraman is veering left or the figure physically hides itself. The right side door also seems to fall closed. A moment later, you hear a strange groan or growl.
Look down one of these before.
Some in the comments think it sounds like an animal. Others think that the dark figure is just the shadow of the dude in the white shirt. Or could the shadow figure be growling at these intruders? Soul Shorts shares this scary video, whose original source is unknown. Although we don't have context, we can assume this group is touring a haunted place when something unexpected happens.
I don't know. There's no cup on there now, bro.
That one drop kicked my soul from my body. Although the clip is short and we don't see what causes this mayhem, I think it's safe to say whatever it is out to cause fear. A YouTuber named RJ32 is at the beach in Southern California when one of his kids sees a fast-moving round creature in the clear water. Watch this part and give me your best guess as to what this could be. And don't worry if you can't tell yet, because you and he are about to get a much closer look. RJ32 curiously walks over to where he last saw what he thinks was a flounder and starts kicking around. Panic sets in as he realizes he's uncovered a stingray that was trying its best to hide from him in the sand. I don't think the stingray is full grown, but take a closer look and tell me if I'm wrong. Mature or not, the tail seems like just the right size to go through your foot if you aren't careful. RJ32 gets a quick warning jab and is sent limping to the beach. If this is what a baby can do, I wouldn't like to see the work of an adult. A YouTuber named Visually Creeped TV is walking around a cemetery in Wisconsin when he hears creepy whistling from within a crypt that is locked and 100 years old. Take a look and try to tell me which direction you think it's coming from.
Let's go walk down here. What the f?
The only thing I find odd is that he initially looks in the opposite way of the crypt. When he first hears the noise, if the whistle was truly coming from inside of the crypt, I think he would instinctively turn the other way. He quickly walks around the crypt to verify no one is around, and then he hears the whistle again, this time where he just was moments ago.
Oh, like right behind me. Hello?
Overall, there's no easy way to fake this video. It doesn't really sound like speakers or anything like that, and it does sound like it's coming from inside of this structure, but the gates are chained shut. You can expect to see a lot of new scary doll videos on TikTok because the reality ripple has made it easy to separate the haunted dolls from normal ones.
So y'all, today I decided to go into a thrift store to see if any of their was haunted, and check this out. Oh, no.
This doll looks no different than the 8 other dolls around it, and yet it glows with a faint orange hue to indicate that it's cursed. If the reality ripple was simply a face scanning filter, then I see at least 2 other dolls that should have set it off. Instead, this filter must be tracking something else, perhaps an electromagnetic energy of some kind. This video, supposedly leaked by a former NASA employee while orbiting the Earth from space, apparently shows the fabled Black Knight satellite in action. According to theorists, the Black Knight satellite is actually thousands of years old and made by extraterrestrials, not humans. Many people believe that NASA is going to great lengths to cover up the existence of this foreign object, as well as whoever created it. The video itself looks pretty old, possibly from the 60s or 70s. The quality is grainy due to either aging or CGI effects. Based on what you've seen here, tell me if you think this is a real cover-up or just video editing. A YouTuber named Darwin Quesada gets no further than a single step into an abandoned house when he hears footsteps from inside, high heels to be exact. He and his friends are determined to find the source of the commotion, so they climb the steps to the top floor. The footsteps resume and a swirling cluster of white orbs appears when these sounds, much worse than footsteps, catch them by surprise. They run down the steps at the sound of a door slamming somewhere unseen, but eventually convince each other to go back upstairs. They search every room and can't find where the footsteps are coming from, but then the footsteps grow louder, and 4 minutes is the exact moment the footsteps enter the room they are in from behind and walk right past where they are standing. The group is besides themselves and giddy with fear at this point, because it sounds like they are now walking around inside of these cabinets, which is obviously impossible, and yet happening before their eyes. Darwin's initial relief that nothing is behind the door is swept away by horror when this happens. The third door swings open on its own without a sound, and they all run away without getting a clear look inside. According to the title of this video, what they saw was a real phantom staring back at them. It's gruesome, the likes of which you or I cannot even begin to fathom. While camping out at this haunted castle, a rustling is heard in the forest. Published by Exploring with Fighters, this YouTuber is exploring the abandoned ruins of Liverpool Castle. Being hundreds of years old, these castle ruins are bound to be haunted, and they're about to give the explorer a taste of fear. As he tries to sleep, his dog is alerted to a rustling sound outside their tent.
What you doing a goose impressions?
just started doing the goose impressions because there's a weird noise coming towards us.
Noting that an owl has kept him up all night, the explorer was wide awake already, and even more so when the mysterious noise seems to be coming toward them.
An owl has kept me awake most of the night.
While the suspense builds, nothing reveals itself, leaving us to wonder what was lurking outside the explorer's tent. Was it man or beast, or something else? This drone footage was taken somewhere deep in the Salt Fork Park in Ohio. The video starts out ordinarily enough, but then sometime around the 5-minute mark, you might be able to see something hiding in the thickets. Watch the left side of your screen closely as the drone starts to land, and pay close attention because it happens pretty fast. Many people claim they can see a large creature stop and look up as the drone passes by. Some even claim that this is a Bigfoot sighting in broad daylight. I do see what they are talking about, but I personally don't see any movement, and I think it could possibly be a tree. Let me know if you see it and if you agree. A truck driver checks his mirror just in time to see a dusty road hazard swirling his way. Try and translate this part, because I would love to hear his initial reaction word for word.
Jaj, látogat üt körbe.
The mini tornado dances all around and blocks the only exit. Getting out and running is probably not a good option because it could randomly change direction and come barreling his way. Now all he can do is stay inside and hope it doesn't move forward another 10 feet and rip off his door, which it looks strong enough to do. If you doubt its power, this bent streetlight says otherwise. After less than a minute, the tornado of dust dissipates moments before, raging through somebody's front door. We like to think that we'd somehow remain in control of any emergency, but all of this was random. His survival was based far more on chances than choices. Anthony lives around a bunch of abandoned farmland that he has always wanted to explore. So he takes his camera and spends the whole day poking around. He doesn't know anything about the history of this land or why it was abandoned, but the more he discovers, the less alone he feels.
There's a bed in here. Hello?
The buildings are all single-story structures in various states of decay, and each one is somehow distinctly lonesome in its own way. By the time he comes across the main house, he is very jumpy and senses eyes on him from afar. Tell me if you hear whispering during this part when he opens the door. I guess it could just be the creaky springs of an old screen door or something, but it really does sound like it could be voices. Anyway, the inside of the house is pretty well kept, especially compared to the other buildings, yet the unrelenting unholy aura only grows stronger with each step he takes. At one point, an abandoned nursery room literally makes Anthony nauseous. Surely something bad must have happened here.
This was a kid's room, and I feel so uneasy. I feel dizzy.
Anthony manages to check out the rest of the house, even the basement, without incident. He's ready to leave altogether, but there's just one final surprise left for him on the way out.
What the f was that? Something literally kicked the door.
The door abruptly closes with a short and impolite slam, the exact kind that homeowners use when they are upset with someone for being at their door. I don't think Anthony shut the door by himself because he was out of arm's reach when it happened, and maybe it's just me, but I think I can see some kind of shadowy mist in the window on the right. Coincidentally, in the same room he was just in. Valerie Brown posted her dog Ruthie's ghost sighting to YouTube in 2013. She writes in the video description, "She barks incessantly as if someone is in there. Everyone said it's a ghost on Facebook. I'm not into paranormal, but people suggest I post this on YouTube. So here it is." As the video begins, The little dog is barking and growling, its tail wagging as it looks into the living room. No one is there, but the dog seems to be highly alert to some presence in the vicinity. The owner asks her dog who she's barking at, but of course, she just continues barking, appearing as though she thinks it's obvious who she's barking at. The owner moves into the living room, and the dog follows, running around to the front of the sofa. The dog's eyes are focused in on one spot, suggesting the invisible entity must be staying in place. In fact, when the dog moves to the front of the sofa, it seems to be barking at someone who's sitting on the sofa. Only there appears to be exactly 0 people lounging there. The dog runs back to the opposite side of the sofa, and as the owner ends the video by telling Ruthie again that there's no one there, the dog barks in disagreement, continuing to appear in high alert. What does Ruthie see? Is it an evil spirit, or is it friendly? My bet is on evil, as she certainly seems to be perturbed by its presence. This giant flat creature is actually a beached oarfish laying on its side. A confirmed bystander pushes it back into the water with her paddle, which could be a mistake because it proceeds to head directly for the person holding the camera. Although it seems more concerned with getting away than taking a bite, this is still not an animal that I would want to have anywhere near me, especially in such shallow waters. It almost seems to make eye contact as it passes directly under her feet before straightening out and swimming away. This ghostly figure is The Thief of Souls, published by Land on TV in November of 2021. This man encountered an obscure figure lurking on an empty road at night. After wandering through a quiet village in the late hours, the man spies the silent figure in the darkness. He walks in another direction but soon sees the figure again. As he yells at the shadowy figure, it moves away into the darkness. Later, it seems he spies the figure up in the trees, either having climbed it or perhaps even hovering in the air. What does this thing want? I'm guessing his soul. A wild dog takes a piece of meat into the corner and devours it in large bites. The dog's ribs jut out, and I'm willing to bet it hasn't seen a meal like this in a long time. It's no doubt willing to do whatever to keep this food, and in a moment you're about to see for yourself. The animal tenses up and then charges the camera. At the 6-second mark, you can see it appears to chomp the fence in an attempt to get to them. Luckily, the cameraman appears to be alright. This video comes from a YouTuber named Kusun2. He's a college student with an original Xbox that has a very strange and unexplainable problem. Every time he is hanging out by himself, his console likes to turn itself on. This happens so often that Kusun2 decides to record it for evidence. The only problem is that this Xbox appears to be camera shy. He'll stare and stare at it and it won't do a thing. It only seems to turn on when he is doing something else, almost as if it's trying to distract him. Even now, as he films his Xbox and explains his story, it refuses to turn on by itself and makes him look like a fool. After talking for about 5 minutes, Kusun2 finally decides to test his theory and leaves the room. The Xbox does nothing for a long time, but then keep in mind that there's no way to turn on an original Xbox remotely, and he always keeps his controller neatly wrapped up on the top of the system, so he can't be using a controller that's out of sight. On top of that, things have been regularly disappearing and reappearing on their own, and now Kusun2 is extremely creeped out about being alone. Are we being possessed by shadowy forces without even knowing it? Posted on BlaBla's channel in January of 2022. This scary video is trending in the Arabic English-speaking YouTube community. The footage shows a woman walking a dirt path along a hillside overlooking a city. She is carrying a bag and she's alone. As the cameraman follows a short way behind, a mysterious and barely visible dark figure comes toward the woman on the path. The shadow figure runs right at the woman, but she doesn't notice it and continues on her way. Did the spirit possess her? Well, this captured our imaginations. As it turns out, after doing some research, I found the video is VFX produced by YouTuber Dark3. Still, the image will prompt you to look over your shoulder the next time you think you're alone. You never know what's behind you until it's too late. Bejewel TV claims to have recently made contact with the supernatural world during a live stream taken at a haunted graveyard in Indonesia. He lights some incense and then weird things are caught on camera with absolutely no wind blowing.
Allah Akbar.
40 seconds later is when it happens. Paranormal contact.
Nah, ini dia. Halo. Halo. Dia diam aja. Mbak.
I would say this has to be special effects except for one thing. These scary moments were caught on live stream with a live chat that was amazed at the ghost sighting. Even with that said, I still think this video could have been pre-recorded because he never seems to directly address what the chat has to say, nor does he call anybody by their screen name, all of which indicates this video might not be live. The ghost doesn't say anything to him. At 15 minutes and 58 seconds, it reaches out to him shortly before disappearing back to wherever it came from. This could simply be a digital image of somebody superimposed over the video, but I'll wait to see what you have to say before making my final decision on this one.
Apparently caught an apparition going to the neighbor's house, going left to right by the trash cans, and in the middle of the driveway, this figure or apparition.
A ghost sighting caught on a home security camera as a small neighborhood in Paragould, Arkansas, worried something paranormal is on their block.
There it is. Walking. No legs. And she disappears.
The mysterious figure never returns after its disappearing act. It's not a neighbor, they say, because the neighbors were on vacation. They've never caught any other weird things on camera since, and other than that one night, the home security system seems to work fine. I guess there is a chance that this could be a technical malfunction, but to them it's a scary ghost video that's actually real. Having seen all of the evidence yourself, tell me if this video is paranormal. I think it could be a glitch, but I don't have the technical know-how to properly back up that explanation. This video was taken at night in a parking garage somewhere in West India. A woman was apparently acting normal until she was suddenly attacked by what some bystanders later described as a ghost. Watch this part and tell me if you think she is having delusions or fighting off a spiritual possession. Try to translate if possible too, please. I did not think much of this video until I noticed what could be a strange paranormal disturbance. Some kind of fast-moving white objects repeatedly appeared during the harshest times of her struggle, like here for instance. Poor camera quality makes it hard to tell if these are some kind of spirit orbs or just insects. If these are insects and nothing more, I find it weird that there are only just a few of them, and how they only seem to appear during key moments of the video when she is in the most distress. In 2010, a man from South Jersey named Nick mysteriously went missing. His older brother Mark vanished shortly thereafter. Their small town was devastated by these back-to-back disappearances and feared the worst. there wasn't a shred of evidence for police to go off of, at least not until a few months later when one of Nick's high school acquaintances receives this mysterious post office package. Inside the package are memory cards and hard drives with hundreds of videos to analyze. Eerily enough, the return address was Nick's house, so either Nick sent this himself or someone else mailed it on his behalf well after his disappearance. Perhaps it was sent by whoever was responsible. A lot of the videos are typical teenage vlogging material you'd expect from 2010. Basic stuff like making a sandwich or watching TV. But on the other hand, there are at least 30 videos containing super creepy information relevant to his whereabouts, or should I say his possible remains. Let's retrace Nick's steps. On September 3rd, 2010, Nick goes to the notoriously haunted Pleasant Mills Cemetery in Batstow, Jersey to see what he can find. On the other side of an old bridge in the woods, he sees some 1800 burial markers and an old church that makes him feel creeped out. Though whatever he thinks he sees while standing on this bridge is what freaks him out the most. This is where voices are said to sometimes be heard on the water. Tell me if you see anything. I honestly can't say I see anything strange, but maybe something was there that didn't show up on camera. The video ends with him running back to his car looking very serious and scared, wide eyes and all, so he probably really did see something strange. He never wants to go back there again, but at sometimes the experience eats away at him until a week later on September 10th, when he goes back to settle his curiosity once and for all, this time with his friend Austin. Night has fallen by the time they arrive. There's not much activity by the old church, so they walk over to the river. They don't hear anything and aren't really that scared, so they challenge each other to sit in the darkness under the bridge. The very same bridge where Nick first saw something, mind you. And as soon as their lights go out, they make contact.
You hear that?
When they turn their lights on to see what's out there, they see this broad goblin-like face looking back at them, soon followed by a splash of water, like something jumping at them, or else reaching up from the depths below. Away they run and away it follows. I don't know what this thing is, but since they've disturbed its home twice now, it decides to return the favor. What you're about to witness happened on the very same night. Nick sees movement behind this curtain wall and thinks it has to be his older brother Mark. It certainly looks like someone's hands, and yet no one's there. Suddenly it grows very cold where he's standing, cold enough to see his own breath, which is odd considering it isn't cold enough to see his breath when he's outside looking for Mark. They really should have stopped going there, but on September 18th they try again. This time, after following these strange lights in the woods, they discover something they were never meant to have. This nondescript book has no title, but I want to know more about this strange binding. It looks like part of a protective ritual, or maybe even a curse upon whoever opens it without permission. Nick grabs it and they go get something to eat, and that's subsequently when they start getting followed even worse than ever before. By now, Nick and Austin have developed somewhat of an unhealthy obsession with the Pleasant Mills Cemetery. It scares them, but it also attracts them and they can't stop going. Maybe something there is enticing them to return. Something that wants its book back, and the more times they visit, the stronger its presence becomes at home.
What? Tired of this. Wait. What the?
When you look at the picture before it falls at 10 minutes and 28 seconds, I think it's a picture of Mark, the older brother who would soon disappear. On September 27th, Nick and Austin make a discovery that they seem to shrug off, but I think is important. It's inside of an old house that they find not too far from the cemetery. The outside looks like it went ablaze a long time ago. Through a square hole in the floor, they spy an area that looks like it could have been a secret chamber when covered. They get a really bad feeling and don't want to go down, but Austin makes a simple observation that I think speaks volumes.
Oh, it smells. Alright, we're wasting time. We gotta go.
It could be mold, or it could be a body that hasn't been disturbed in quite some time. Things get really crazy after they discover the possible body. By November 2nd, Mark is gone and nobody knows where he went. Nick goes back to the cemetery to look for his brother, and this final recording is what he finds. A tall figure with an all-white face marches toward him, with a long tool in his hand. All I will say is that it looks like Nick sadly met the same fate as his brother. This large, unidentified fish or eel-like creature skims the water like a shark. One person even thinks this has to be a remote controlled, because the way it moves is so odd looking. You never do get to see the head, so this could be a much larger creature than what we're being shown. Its tail looks much larger than the body, like it was built for something giant. The person recording has seen it before and says it can move through the water like a missile. With that large tail, I definitely believe it. Exploring an abandoned secret nuclear bunker designed for NATO headquarters? What could go wrong? That's what the crew from YouTube channel Broken Window Theory did in November of 2020. The team explains a bit about the video, writing, "In the belly of a mountain, we found this secret NATO bunker at an undisclosed location, hard to find and even harder to enter. Naturally, the team considers it the ideal place to get trapped, as they dive right into the belly of the beast. The bunker is located in southern Italy. They arrive at the entrance, an unobtrusive cement block which they pull up to reveal the tunnel that they climb down into. The secret bunker was dug right into the side of the mountain and stretches several kilometers. As they walk deeper and deeper into the mountain, it gets colder by the minute. 200 or 300 people were stationed here in the darkness when it was active. Now, only moldy furniture and rusted pipes remain. They arrive at the fallout door, which looks creepy and foreboding in and of itself. Later, they come across a control room, as well as lists of aircraft and maps still pinned to the walls. When they come to the water reservoir, they toss a few rocks in to test the echo, which seems never ending. The echo sounds even more ominous a few moments later, almost like someone singing. After exploring a bit further, they finally climb out of the bunker and back into the 21st century. Although this bunker is a pretty epic urban exploration, it's lucky it was never made necessary. Otherwise, the 21st century may not exist. Josh is afraid of heights and his family is giving him a hard time about it. They bet him some money that he won't be able to stay on the ledge of a watchtower for long. He takes the bet and this is his immediate reaction.
Oh my god. Can't be so lucky now. No. You gotta be out for one whole minute.
Josh's family ups the ante to $10 if he can make it all the way around the walkway. Pale and shaky, he inches his way across the platform, timidly clinging to the wall at times to keep from falling over. At one point, it looks like he isn't going to make it much longer.
Landscape out here.
Okay, I'm ready to turn around.
Nope.
Turn around. I can't do it. There's people in the way. I can't stand up here for this long.
But he summons all of his strength and eventually makes it full circumference. If you have a fear of heights, then let me know if you would be willing to walk around this tower for $10 like Josh just did, or if it would take way more to make you budge. A man is videotaping an abandoned home from above when he catches what could be something paranormal as it dashes away. A misty black cloud snakes along the wall and trails off into the abandoned house, veering out of sight. The cameraman zooms in for a better look but finds nothing. I think this appears to be CGI, but the way the cameraman behaves makes me think that it could be real. He stays focused on the spot for a little bit, then draws back and studies the entire area for more activity. He doesn't immediately stop recording like most videos. Jal Bundy has caught some weird things on camera while exploring the forest outside of his village late at night.
আস্তে 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 কেরে কেরে ওখানে কেরে দেখুন 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 দেখুন
In front of them is the white outline of a phantom apparition that for some reason stands out against a backdrop of total darkness. When they rush towards the apparition, you can see it shrinks into a small ball of paranormal energy and disappears around the tree. Is this strange ball of light edited or really paranormal is what I want to know. I feel like this video could be real because it's late at night. They sound scared and those woods look scary too. Freaky, right? A YouTuber named El Indocente is making a tutorial about how to repair a corroded window in his home. First, he puts special tape over it and hits it with some kind of industrial cleaning agent. Next, he removes the tape and applies more cleaner to get it sparkling like new. But here's a step he never expected to see. The ghostly image of his father unexplainably looking back at him. El Indocente swears that this is real and has no idea how his father's likeness is imprinted on the glass. I suspect that there is a way to transfer photographs onto glass that I'm not aware of. Let me know if this is some kind of special technique he's using, or if that's really a ghost in the window like he says. This video was taken near the Pearl Tower in Shanghai, China. The forecast is clearly cloudy and thunder can be heard in the distance. It appears people began recording when they saw someone who appears to be levitating or hanging off the tower. Suddenly, there's a surge of lightning, and it appears this person acts as a lightning rod because he's shocked numerous times by the lightning. But the man is fine and stays suspended in midair. I couldn't find any additional information on the incident, so it appears we'll never know what happened to this individual beyond the recording of this video, if this video is real. This video seems like just an image of a gator at the start, with its jaw wide open, staring blankly, completely motionless. But it's not a photo. That becomes clear when the camera zooms in closer to the gator's eye, and it starts backing up angrily, its jaw even wider. Then it goes berserk in the tunnel, clambering towards the camera, until the camera pulls away. The gator then approaches slowly, biting on a cord. After backing away again, the camera approaches the wide-mouthed, sharp-toothed creature once more. The eyes, the scales, the teeth. There's nothing about this that isn't chilling to the core. But what is a camera doing up close and personal down in a sewer anyway? Mike Kruger in the comments section of this video seems pretty knowledgeable on the subject. He wrote that the camera was doing a condition assessment of the storm sewer. He noted that behind the alligator, you can see the swamp. The tired gator simply clambered into the pipe to have a sewer nap, that is, until his nap was so rudely interrupted. There's a demon in the cellar in this video from Dark Ghost Paranormal. As Dennis is peering into a stone storage cellar, he first hears its moan. Back in the house, some terrifying sounds start to reverberate through his radio. And then Dennis is confronted by something unseen. After that terrifying instance, this happens. Then whole pieces of furniture start to move. And it doesn't stop there. After Dennis tries to get out of there, he goes to pick up something off the ground. That's when all heck breaks loose. Later, Dennis leaves an infrared camera inside the house and heads outside. This is what he captures. Then this happens. You can literally see the demon on camera moving the crib and then breaking the wardrobe doors. What is this evil? All I know is, it's not something I'd want to encounter face to face. Green Gables is the name of a fine dining restaurant in Jennerstown, Pennsylvania. The 100-year-old building is said to be haunted to the point where one worker would start recording with their phone whenever they felt something was wrong, and one night they were right.
And I don't know, something doesn't feel right about this place. Like it's I can't even describe what it feels like right now. Like this is just, what is that? Nope, 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 nope.
A shadowy hand definitely just extended across the waist of the statue in my opinion. It doesn't look like a trick of the light or anything like that. These creepy situations are exactly what this century-old haunted estate is known for, so I think it's real. Oh, and one more thing that's weird. Shortly before noping out of there, the employee notices a deep slice across the length of its stone throat. Is this another paranormal sign, or just normal wear and tear? Is this really the mummified remains of an extraterrestrial? YouTube channel Paranormal Planet thinks it is. The creature certainly looks unique with its small skull and long neck. I can see why they'd think it's an extraterrestrial. I'm wondering if the mysterious arrangement surrounding the extraterrestrial was part of the blast. I'm also curious if the extraterrestrial is attached to it in some way. Will some in the comments think it's clay, a dinosaur, or a severely dehydrated turkey? I think there's a good chance that this truly could be extraterrestrial. Something weird has been going in and out of the McGulphin Middle School in El Paso, Texas late at night, and this superintendent appears to have caught it on tape.
Okay, so you're looking at this white thing right there. I have no idea what it is.
Dude, that just came out of the boys' restroom.
This right here.
Isn't that bathroom apparently haunted too?
A small white object darts from the hall into the restroom. It's a very odd shape, and I can't tell if it walks on 2 legs or 4, or maybe it's even floating. I think it could just be a raccoon, but if this is a curious animal and not a spirit, then shouldn't it be more interested in the cafeteria or some location with food? One of the students mentions that both bathrooms on this floor are rumored to be haunted, so there's definitely a chance that this is a real ghost caught on school CCTV. If anyone goes to the school, please verify that these rumors are true or not. The kids show is called Mushroom Land, and it was apparently broadcast somewhere in Poland decades ago. At first glance, it seems like a fairly innocent program until you pay attention to what they're actually saying and start to piece together what this material was probably really used for. We follow a girl named Agatha as she learns more about this magical world of Mushroom Land. The first episode is called Smile Guide, and I feel like there's subliminal messages the whole time, to the point where I had to take breaks while watching, like here at 3 minutes and 16 seconds, where it sounds like someone crying in reverse is being played over hypnotic piano notes. The red figure is named Toyfell, her smile guide, and the way they smile at each other at 3 minutes and 28 seconds is unsettling, if not demonic. Toyfell is constantly by her side, getting her attention and distracting her while she tries to cut an apple. This is supposed to be some kind of instructional episode about how to slice an apple, but she seems to be teaching kids to do it all wrong and gets really close to slicing her fingers here instead. The next part made me feel slightly lightheaded. A creepy deep voice, no doubt laced with more subliminal messages, tells us that Mushroom Land is a beautiful meadow that will bestow misery upon all who enter. To which Agatha seems to transform into something completely evil looking. Shoulders low as she tells us not to listen. Skip to episode 4, and she is opening mail from other kids who send her their hair, which is something people sometimes do after they take kids captive to prove they really have them. This is also where we meet someone known only as the Jeans Man, an adult who dances with the kids and appears to groom them when their nails and hair grow too long, presumably after being under his watch for a long period of time. How he gets them is never made clear, but some of the letters are from the families of other kids who could have possibly been taken. One of them mentions the 8th anniversary of their passing on. Another note says that someone's niece isn't breathing. By episode 5, Agatha is being prodded awake with a stick, furthering the theory that she's being held against her will. And she's wearing lipstick now, perhaps put on her by the Jeans Man. I think she's being allowed to call her mother here, but the stress of being in captivity leaves her unable to talk, and she disassociates from reality. Toyfell appears again and tells her he's taking her on a field trip, presumably to the meadows, but first she has to do something she really doesn't want to do if she ever wants to get there. Something about these pictures looks a little too real, almost like they're still photos of a real girl screaming. The eyes might also double as a blindfold. Maybe the Jeans Man is a real person who forced her to make this show as a tribute to all of his previous acts. As for what Mushroom Land means, I think it's a clever way of saying underground, creepy when you think about it. As for Toyfell, he could have been a way to introduce the underworld to kids in a fun way that they wouldn't understand until it's too late. This was before the internet, so a kids show would have been the perfect way to do something like this. At any rate, Toyfell seems to be invading Agatha's mind and trying to be cute about it the entire time. Someone could watch this and not even know the underlying meaning. This is the show starring a small impish figure who seems bent on instructing harm. If this series is real, then it seems history is repeating itself. People have sadly been making dangerous instructional videos for many years. Thank you so much for getting me to 50,000 subscribers here on my Clips channel. If you want to support, please press that subscribe button. Let's get to 60,000 subscribers next. Thank you.